The next unit process which we are going to discuss is filtration. Okay, so this is the unit operation which is used to remove the bacteria, especially the bacteria, color, taste, and odor of the wastewater, that is water, that is present in the water. And this is the filtration is the unit process, unit operation which is used to remove the suspended impurities about 95 to 98 percentage, because this will reduce the turbidity, and it will keep the turbidity endpoint turbidity as less than 1 NTU. Okay, so this is just a process which the water is passed through the beds of sand and granular materials like coarse aggregate, and then pebbles like, okay, so these are the things which is arranged in a manner, okay, from top to bottom, and the passed water is passed from top to bottom. Okay, so the well under drainage system is placed at the bottom to collect the purified water from the filter. Okay, so the mechanism of filtration behind there are four steps. First one is mechanical straining. So in the first step, the suspended particles which is present in the water, which has been strained through when passed through the sand pores. Okay, so second one is sedimentation. In this process, the absorption will taken place to absorb the colloidal and dissolved inorganic matters which is present in the water by means of the sand grains, surface of the sand grains, which forms the thin film over it. Okay, so next one is electrolytic action. So this is nothing but here the opposite charges may work down. Okay, so that is the impurities and the sand particle act as opposite charges, and they bind together. Okay, so because of the electrolytic action between them. Next, last one is the biological action. So biological action is nothing but the development of film. Okay, film of microorganism which is available on the top of the filter media, that may be fine aggregate or coarse aggregate. Okay, so which absorbs the organic impurities, either it may be biodegradable organic matter like this. Okay, so that is BOD. Okay, so which absorbs the organic matter which is present in the water, and it accumulated, then it emits it as carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so this is the biological action which will happen by means of the microorganisms. Okay, so these are the theory of filtration, and which is behind in the filtration process. So there are two types of filtrations are there. First one is slow sand filtration, and next one is rapid sand filtration. So another one is pressure filters, which is applicable for the water which is flowing under high pressure. So the difference between the slow sand and rapid sand filter has given in the tabulation. Okay. Next one is slow sand filter is nothing but the water is passed through over the filter, and which is similar, that is the construction of both the thing is similar, but the slow sand filter normally best suited for only the filtration of the small towns. Okay, so which cannot be applicable for the large projects. Then we go for the rapid sand filter. Okay, so and also the um, water. Okay, based on the turbidity of the water, we can decide which type of filter which is suited for the water treatment of our requirement. Okay, so also rate of filtration also will differ. Okay, in the slow sand filter it is very low, and if it is the rate of filtration is very high in the second case. So this is the schematic diagram of the slow sand filter. Normally the use of this filter is very effective in removing the bacteria, and also all the suspended particles which is present in the waste, this water, then it reduces the turbidity of the water to 1 NTU as told earlier. So now we will see the construction of the slow sand filter. So this is the inlet which the water is coming into the slow sand filter, and this is the tank. Chamber is called inlet chamber, and where we receive the water. Okay, so then the water is entered through the baffle wall, and which is passing through the filters which is arranged here. This is the fine aggregates. Above that the water is stagnated over, so that is allowed to stagnate over the bed. Okay, so this is the sand bed, and then next the coarse aggregate is arranged. Okay, so yeah, below that there is an under drainage system, so which is available here to collect the filtered water. Okay, so then the water is brought to the chamber, and where we are which is bring to the next operation. Okay, so this is the construction of the slow sand filter, and this is the schematic diagram of the rapid sand filter. So in this also there is a inlet chamber which is available here, and here the water head is available, that is water is stagnated over the filters of sand, that is fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Here also the laterals and a central drain. Okay, central drain which is used to collect the water from all the lateral drains. Okay, so then water is brought to the next unit operation or unit processes or next storage tank. Okay, the next unit process is coagulation and flocculation. Here the coagulation is used to make to settle the colloidal particles which is present in the water, and the colloidal particles are very difficult to separate from the water because it is very smaller in size, so it is very difficult to make them to settled down by means of gravity. So we have it requires some aid, so we have to add some chemicals, that is called coagulant, and normally the aluminum sulfate, alum, is most widely used coagulant to make the particle agglomerate together. That agglomeration of fine particles which is present in the water is called flocculation. Okay, so in the flocculation processes it is a stimulation by means of mechanical means. Okay, so we normally use the flash mixture. Okay, so after adding the coagulant, the flash mixture is allowed to move, and while it is rotating, the particles are agglomerated together. Okay, the agglomeration is nothing but the formation of flog. It is a white color, it is looking like a sponge like structure. Okay, so the small colloidal particles come together and form a big flag like structure. Okay, so then automatically the gravity of the particle, okay, because many small particle together form a big particle. Okay, normally the gravity of the particle is getting increased, so then it is start to settle down in the rapid, that is in the inside the tank. Okay, so here the mixing is done by means of flash mixture. This is the figure shows how the flog formation is happening. So this is the water having the colloidal particles. Then after added the coagulant, it's looking like this. After this is the flog which is settled over, that is settled under the beaker. Okay, so the third beaker shows how the flogs are settled down. Okay, so after that the clarified water is nothing but the clear water which is separated out from the flog. Okay, so is shown in the fourth beaker. Okay, the water which is free from colloidal particles after the flocculation process are shown here. Next one is pulsator clarifier. This is the clarifier normally used to carry out the coagulation and flocculation together, because there are two chambers are here, and which is the one we used to add the coagulate. Then by means of this the flocculation may be achieved. This is the schematic diagram of the pulsator clarifier. So next unit process is disinfection. So in this disinfection, we used to kill the infective bacteria, that is pathogenic bacteria which is present in the water, and by making this process, by doing this process, we make the water safe to drinking purpose. Okay, so after completing all the preliminary, primary and secondary treatment which is applied over the water, finally we have done the disinfection process. So we require good disinfectant to do the thing. Okay, so then only all the harmful, that is pathogenic bacteria is nothing but the bacteria which causes diseases to human beings and other things. Okay, so we need to kill the bacteria. Okay, also the disinfectant must be economical one, and it should be easily available in the market. So also it does not require extra skill, that is skilled labor. So after treatment, the water should not be toxic one. Okay, because otherwise it is objectionable for the by the user. Okay, so also the concentration should be determined by simply and quickly. Okay, so these are the requirement of the good disinfectant. Then the methods of disinfection may be boiling, UV rays, and ultrasonic rays. Okay, so these are the physical method of disinfection. And then next one is chemical methods of chlorination. So in this chlorination, by adding chewed by chlorine gas, bromine iodide, then potassium permanganate, ozone, and excess lime treatment, or some of the chemical methods. So normally we use the chlorine in terms in by means of gas, in the form of gas or powder. Okay, so which is added to kill the bacteria which is present in the water. Okay, so the uses of chlorine is why we use this means because it is manufactured easily, and it is a powerful oxidant. Okay, so the dosage can be controlled by means of the thing which is easily by means of the orthodoline test. Okay, so these are the things behind in usage of chlorine for the disinfection process. Okay, next one is residual chlorine and chlorine demand. Still chlorine is nothing but how much amount of chlorine which is required to kill the pathogenic bacteria which is present in the water may be determined, but the exact quantity may not be some, that is it is not possible to add that quantity, exact quantity. So sometimes we add extra in amount. Okay, so after consuming the chlorine by means of the pathogenic bacteria, the remaining chlorine amount of chlorine which is present in the water is called residual chlorine. And the chlorine requirement, which is actually the chlorine demand, is the amount of chlorine which is required to kill the pathogenic bacteria. And the difference between the residual chlorine and the chlorine, that is required chlorine, is nothing but chlorine demand. Okay, so the difference between the quantity applied and the residual is nothing but the chlorine demand. So based on the point of chlorination, it is pre-chlorination, post-chlorination, and rechlorination. The first one is pre-chlorination. Actually, pre-chlorination is nothing but when we applied the chlorine prior to the sedimentation process. Okay, because after preliminary we go for preliminary treatment. Okay, so primary treatment. So before primary treatment, if you keep the chlorination unit, then it is called as, if you apply the chlorine before the preliminary, that is a primary treatment, then it is called pre-chlorination. Okay, so for post-chlorination is nothing but if the chlorine is added after all the treatment completed, then it is called as post-chlorination. That is after all the treatment, that is preliminary, primary, and secondary. If you keep the chlorination tank, then it is called as post-chlorination. Okay, next one is rechlorination. Rechlorination is nothing but in the long distribution system. Okay, that is if the length is very more, then the residual chlorine may be tendering to water unsafe. So at that point we have to apply the chlorine. Okay, then the water is rechlorinated. This is again the chlorine is added nearer the treatment point. Okay, so that time that type of added chlorination is called as rechlorination. Normally the pre-chlorination is done for the water which is heavily polluted. Next one is types of chlorination, that may be plain chlorination, super chlorination, and dechlorination. Okay, first one is plain chlorination, which is nothing but the addition of chlorine only when the surface water is required, no other treatment. That is just before supply we add only chlorine. Okay, so no other type of treatment is required for the type of water is called as plain chlorination. Next one is super chlorination. Super chlorination is nothing but based on the adequate bacterial purification, that is based on the more than the requirement when the dose may be increased in excess. Okay, so that time the chlorination, that type of chlorination is called as super chlorination. So here when the free chlorine which is available in this one, which reacts with the pathogenic bacteria, which kills the pathogenic bacteria, and it reacts with the chloramines which is available in that one. Okay, so after consuming the chlorine, okay, so the remaining is chlorine is available in the water, that is called as available chlorine. Here this is the graph which explains the chlorine dosage, that is this is the graph which shows the this is the it shows the graph between the chlorine dosage under acetyl chlorine, and in this point after the